Hi guys, by the time you watch this, we're going to be offshore and we didn't have our normal edit done. So we've uploaded the In Motion project live we did earlier this week. It was 3:30 in the morning for us. We had a few technical issues. You'll hardly notice it. Part of the course for us, I think. But this is an introduction to the fleet. It's not all the fleet, but it's most of the fleet. And some answers to any questions that you may have around this In Motion plastic recycling project that we have signed up for. Enjoy.
We're live. Hello and welcome everybody to our kickoff event from the In Motion recycling fleet. We're super excited to be here with you. I'm Nika.
I'm Maria.
We're the founders of In Motion and the initiators of the In Motion recycling fleet, but we're not here today by ourselves. We have 4 of our 8 fleet members here with us today. We're gonna call them up on stage, and whilst we do that, maybe some of you guys can leave us a comment where you're at and who you are, so we can greet you. All righty, who do we have?
Yeah, I think we have, looks like someone from there, Randy from Minnesota. Not Canada, though.
Hello, Randy.
And who else do we got here? Henrik, hello.
Hey, Henrik, nice to see you again.
Kathy from North Carolina. Well, that has to be nice weather right now. We've got quite a few. We have, keep on coming. I only see a few here, guys. I guess my screen's going a little slow, though.
Oh. And there we have sailing vessel Uma.
Hello, everyone. Wow, so many people from so many different places. John from Seattle, Jason from Costa Rica.
Do you want to say your names too, in case somebody doesn't know you? Which is unlikely, but.
I'm Luca. Us? Yeah, sorry. I'm Dan. This is Kika. We are inside our boat, Uma.
So cool that you found the time to join us today. So we're still trying to get Ron on screen. Oh, there they are.
Hi, I'm Malin.
How are you, Juan?
This is Vera, and we're from Rand Sailing.
Welcome. And we also have Richard from Buffalo. Hello, nice to see you. Joe and Ray from Norfolk in the UK.
We got a Keys traveler here. I'm in the Keys.
Oh, we've got lots of people joining. So now we're waiting for the cruising Kiwis to pop on screen as well. For them, it's actually 3 o'clock in the morning, so maybe they're having some startup trouble.
Maybe they need coffee first.
And we were already saying
they had an
that
all-nighter, or they're just joining us.
It's actually amazing to have 5 sailors on here, but they all have good enough internet to join into a live event. I think that's pretty amazing.
I'm impressed.
Although Maria and I are landlocked at the moment, so actually that's cheating, I guess.
It seems like my internet's the worst, even being landlocked.
So we have Jean from Spain and Richard from Oriental. Hello, welcome. Sokai from the Pacific Northwest. Oh no, we already had said hello.
Yeah, we have. I love it. Then more and more keep joining.
we
We have Richard. Hey, Richard, how you doing?
Oh, here they are.
He chartered me.
Oh, there are 100 people.
So this is our first time on Crowdcast. It's a new platform for us, so we're trying to figure everything out, and we're still waiting for the cruising Kiwis to come in and everybody else to join. We have Christian from Germany. Hello. Victoria and Nick from Ontario, Canada. Welcome. And yeah, maybe whilst we're still waiting for the cruising Kiwis, for those of you who are also new to this Crowdcast platform, there's a little ask a question button on the bottom. So if you have any questions for exactly for the fleet members or for us, then you can put them down in the section ask a question. And there's also a little button next to the questions where you can hit vote. So what happens then? The questions with the more votes, they will move up, and we will actually answer the ones with the most votes first. And then if you do have a specific question at a specific fleet member, then make sure you put the at and then the boat name potentially. Otherwise, we'll just choose one. And let me see one last time if I can get the cruising Kiwis up. Oh, we lost Uma.
Yeah.
I think it'll be probably frequent when we come in and out.
Rob said they can hear us, which is good. Well, we will let them try and figure out what's going on, because we're gonna move the fleet members to the side a little bit for a little moment, because Maria and I are going to give a little introduction to what is In Mocean and what is behind the idea of the recycling fleet. But our lovely fleet members will be standing by, and you can chat with them in the comments, hopefully, right?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
And then that'd be great. And then once we're done with the little introduction, we'll pull everybody back on stage, and all the fleet members will get a little time for themselves to introduce themselves. All righty. So see you later, guys.
We'll catch you in a bit.
Yeah.
So now here's the next challenge. We have to be prepared a couple of slides. They have a little bit of visual to go with our little story. So let's see how this is going to work.
There we are.
Okay. So everybody can see the screen, I hope. And Maria and I are small on the bottom, right? Hopefully.
Unfortunately, it's the way it works. Yeah.
Okay. Well, for those of you who don't know us, yeah, as I said, I'm Nika, and this is my friend Maria. And yeah, like all the fleet members, we also live on a sailboat. Here you see our little 2 sailboats together anchored in Panama under a rainbow. There is Maria's Joanna in the background, the large black boat, and then there's my little Carl in the front. And yeah, for those of you who are not sailors, are there any people who are not sailors or not coming from one of the vlogs of the fleet members? Maybe then let us know in the comments. I suppose most of you are here because they sort of know one of the fleet members, sort of.
Maybe they're just like, no plastic.
or that's possible too. If you're one of those that is just here because of the plastic and you don't know any one of the vloggers, then I think that's worth a little message. Yeah, so if we tell people that we live on a sailboat, I think what they have in mind is, you know, perfect white beaches, crystal clear water, and people with a cocktail in their hand, probably laying in a hammock. We don't do that kind of
fancy
stuff.
life.
No, we don't no, we just work on our boats. No, of course, we also have those little moments, but unfortunately, those white beaches that everybody dreams of, they mostly look like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think during the last, I've been like on the boat like nearly 9 years now. And you, Maria, how long have you been on your boat?
15, 16 years now.
Quite a while. And yeah, I don't think we've seen any beaches that were without any plastic like this. And especially during the last 2 years, we've seen a massive increase in the amount of plastic trash that we were finding. So yeah, very, very sad. I mean, it's like nice and colorful, but yeah, unfortunately, there's also a lot of animals that we have encountered that get tangled up in the plastic waste that gets washed up on shore. And yeah, those moments are not very scarce. And here you see one of the boas that got tangled up in the net didn't survive. Luckily, the other one was still alive. And thanks to the bravery of Paul and Maria, we could save it. I was only holding the camera, obviously. But,
well, still, it took a group effort. It was a scary guy. I mean, he was huge.
he was pretty big.
Yeah.
He was like, what, 2.5 meters or something? It was,
yeah, and it was really a shame. His other guy didn't make it, but
yeah. But we believe, or for us, it was that we've been confronted with this amount of plastic for the past years, like on a daily basis. And if you see it firsthand all of the time, and you see the animals suffering, and you see nature suffering in general, you can't not do something. Well, you have to do something. That's what I wanted to say. You basically have to get in motion.
And we ended up gathering a bunch of sailor friends, whoever we could find, to share the message. And as you see, collected a huge amount of trash in the first few times we did it. We even tried to start doing, you know, as you can see there, that's massive. That was one of the first islands that we started on. But we tried to do, I mean, make baskets, some way, upcycle it in some means. And then we just said, there's got to be another way. So we did a lot more research and looked online, and there was a a program that's called, or an organization that's called Precious Plastic. And what they do is they give you the plans and basically to build your own shredder, like this here that you see. And this is on Joanna that we're doing it, which is my boat. She has enough power, and we have sort of the knowledge of the welding in order to start jigging and putting on jerry rig most of this together. Surprisingly, it worked quite well.
Yeah, it totally did. You did a really good job.
Yeah, yeah. And there's also an extruder that goes along with this that that we had, as you see here. That it and so within the extruder, it takes a bit more wiring and techniques. So we tried to use most of the material that we could find on the beach in order to use for certain things. And this one particularly, I think Nika could have probably picked a bigger box, but for odd reasons, she wanted to make sure she could find the smallest thing she could to get the most amount of wiring here inside of it.
I'm surprised that this didn't end up overboard. I think the only reason it didn't was because there was plastic involved and I couldn't toss it. But
maybe a beer break and the German designing.
Yeah, this was definitely a challenge. But I put you the link in the comments for Precious Plastic for those of you who don't know that movement. It's all open source. I have all the plans for the machines. It's really awesome. They started it in the Netherlands. So yeah, if you don't know it yet, check it out because that's where we got all our really great information.
Beautiful open source, yeah.
Yeah, they're sharing everything for you. So the recycling process is actually pretty simple. So Maria already told you about the machines. There's the shredder that does what its name says. It shreds the plastic into little flakes. So yeah, you can collect anything you want on a beach. So bottle caps, containers, shampoo bottles. There's lots of oil bottles too that we find, or household oil, but also engine oil. And then you get those little tiny shreds with it. And those shreds will then go into the extruder, which will heat up the plastic and spit out a little plastic filament. And
ooh, yeah. And you can kind of make things like this, huh?
You can make what?
I said you can make things like this.
Like little bowls, for example.
And from this nasty stuff.
Or big, colorful bowls as well.
Oh, that one I love. But most of it, all the time, still plastic is plastic.
You can also do like little more open designs. And then there's also a different machine, which is an injection machine, where you inject the plastic into a 3D mold. And with that, do you still have more trash? Oh, there's so much trash.
So much.
So this is what it looks like when you're injecting you're injecting the plastic into the mold. Everywhere. It's like a little soap dish, for example. More trash?
More trash. Ugh.
Whoa. Woo. Oh, wait a second. What's this? Geez.
That's the one.
Coat hanger.
Yeah, that's it.
Coat hanger. You got more?
Not to, well, I can hear. Let me just get them all out of the way.
Let's recycle some more.
Oh, yeah, there's a ton more.
Okay. Woo. So you can also make little trinkets. These are made from another recycling sailor. They're called the Sea Monkeys. Very inspiring family. And I need one more piece of trash.
One more? Okay, this is a good one, I think.
This is a good one. Okay.
Here you go.
Oh, don't throw that one. Okay, some flower pots. Really cute, I think.
These guys are adorable.
Okay, back to the slideshow.
Ooh. Yeah, these guys. So as you see, the machines we had were quite heavy and more cumbersome and quite a bit hungry for power. So we were trying to figure out certain ways to, work around that. And also it was tricky. Like if we wanted to bring them ashore and take them to show them within the community, something like this was a bit too bulky, we found. And around the areas, the power consumption probably wouldn't be the best. So we also have, and as you see, our boats became very large trash barges. It just mounds and mounds of trash kept collecting. Joanna ended up having so much junk in her trunk, it was insane.
Yeah, I think there was I think there was no beach visit where we didn't come back with like buckets full of plastic trash. And It was getting a bit over the top, I think we have to say.
I think so.
There was two things happening at the same time. So one thing was that we saw that we were loading our boats full of plastic, and it's too much to deal with because it was getting a bit out of hand. But the other thing is lots of our friends from the areas, like all our local friends, they came and visited our boats, and they saw the machines, and they got really excited about seeing how that you can turn plastic trash into useful items, and they wanted to test the machines and see how it works. And we got them all very excited about it. And there was one thing that they particularly liked, and we wonder if it had to do with how the trash was actually created, because we had these beer wraps, these beer shrink wraps from the Panama beer. Those of you who've been to Panama probably know the beer.
They love those. Those are the best.
Yeah, and we shredded them down into little flakes, and then we made some bracelets from them. And all the little kids in the Las Perlas Islands were super excited about the bracelets. And then when we told them what we actually made them off, they're like, "Oh, I gotta tell that to my dad. He's got a bunch of them." So
it's like, look what the beer made us. We liked it because we could drink the beer too. I mean, at least we could take care of the plastic part.
and I think it was interesting for them to see, because it was, you know, something that they knew as a trash that was produced, and they could see that it was turned into something useful, which they really enjoyed. But we also saw, as I mentioned, that we couldn't really deal with a large amount of plastic. We could recycle plastic on board, like our own plastic, and we could collect a bit on the beaches as well. But we saw that we have to make a difference between recycling on land, where you can recycle bigger amounts of plastic, and the recycling on board. What Maria already mentioned, because due to size of the machines, but also they're really energy hungry. So we decided to donate our machines to a turtle conservation project in Costa Rica. Their name is COPROT. And we saw firsthand, we built up the infrastructure, and we saw firsthand the positive impact that the machines had in that area. But unfortunately today, we don't have that much time to talk about this particular project, because we're here to talk about the fleet. But I'm going to put you a link into the comments. So if you want to sign up for next week's Crowdcast, then we're going to have the volunteers from COPROT joining, and they're going to tell you about the conservation work with the turtles and what they did with our machines.
And as you see, we had to figure out some kind of more compactable machine, something that fits on the boat a little bit easier. As we said, something that we can take ashore, and then we can share with the community to make more awareness of these things. And so then we kept thinking, well, wouldn't it be great if other people could do this? If we had a boat full of fleet, massive amounts of people around the world joining us, all these great guys, and just to make this awareness so much better. It would,
and that's
sorry.
And that's basically how the idea got created about the fleet. We saw that the big machines can have a really great impact on shore, but that we could still recycle our own plastic on the boats, and we can also be part in the global combat against plastic pollution. Like, everybody that is on a sailboat can do their own part as long as they have the machines. And as sailors, we have access to a lot of very remote areas on this planet where, unfortunately, they usually have a very large impact or negative impact of plastic pollution. And we reach those areas where there's usually a lack of infrastructure for plastic recycling or just disposing it properly. And we strongly believe that building community recycling workspaces has a very positive impact for structurally weak areas like that it can create new income streams, and that it can also clean the environment. And we hope that our ambassadors, like the sailing recycling fleet, that they will spread the word about the potential of plastic recycling in these areas, and they'll create awareness spots all around the globe. You can see on this map where all our fleet members are situated, more or less. And
hope to grow.
And hope to grow. Exactly. This is basically the trial run to see how everything works. And then we hope that more and more people will join our recycling fleet. And yeah, we hope that then with In Motion, we can turn those awareness spots into recycling workspaces. And
with the boats, we hope to, with the sailboats, to outfit the machines, with the machines at least. And then, they can collect from the beaches, and they can also collect on their own what they have on their boats, and the hopes and the processes for them, they can upscale and create, amazing things. So it's best of both worlds, we hope.
Oh, look, the cruising Kiwis made it just in time.
Show right up.
This is great timing because basically that is how how we came up with this idea. We were doing onboard recycling. We realized that the machines that we were using were too big, and we thought that will be our land-based work as In Motion to set up community recycling workspaces, but we need more people to spread the word about the potential of small-scale recycling. And all of us sailors can do our part to clean our oceans. So
let's bring that fleet up here. Get everybody.
Yeah, let's invite the fleet back up on stage. We already have.
We know what everybody wants to see. These happy faces.
So just for those of you who just joined, we're currently here with the In Motion recycling fleet. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the Ask Question button here below. We already have 8 of them with 5 votes here. Maybe we're going to shoot one in whilst the cruising Kiwis figure out the microphone. Is there any sort of plastic that you can't use? So we're currently working with HDPE, so that's high density polyethylene, and PP, which is polyethylene, so that's number 2 and number 5 plastics. The machines would also take other types of plastic like PET, but then the products get really brittle. So we're not working with those at the moment. So it's basically those 2 plastic types that we work with. Number 4, low density polyethylene would be possible too. So how about, whilst we wait for the others, I'm going to put our first fleet member on the screen, which is Sailing Vessel Odd.
Woohoo!
Maybe you guys can tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, some little short story about your awesome boat Odd, and why you joined the In Motion fleet.
I'm Roberta.
And I'm Duca. 2 years ago, we bought a boat that was pretty much abandoned. People say that it was neglected because the owner was paying marina, but still, even though he was paying marina, the boat was sitting on the harbor for over 22 years. So it was in need of a lot of love in order to come back to life. And that's what we did for over 2 years, every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
It's also a metal boat, as Nick and Maria's.
Yeah, so it's a steel boat that luckily was hot galvanized. That means the structure of the boat, even after 22 years, on the dry was in a really good shape, but all the rest needed a lot of love. So we spent 2 years refitting the boat, making into our floating home, and now for the past 3 months we've been sailing the coast of Brazil.
It's not done yet.
Yeah, someone said this week that repeat you never finish, you just abandon. You just basically, I don't know, you start sailing, and then sometimes you do some stuff like today we're installing a new boom, for example, and we're sailing already. So just, I don't know.
So basically, you recycled an old neglected sailboat, right? Or you upcycled it somehow.
Upcycled
You're reusing it. So is that it's in your blood basically, and that's why you thought, now we recycled a sailboat, now we're going to recycle ocean plastic.
Yeah, actually, we started even before that. We recycled a shipping container. Before we bought this boat, we couldn't afford to have a boat. We couldn't afford to refit a boat. So we're like, we have savings that we can buy a shipping container and we can transform into a home. We can start a YouTube channel, and if the YouTube channel goes well, we might find our dream project that is a boat, and that's what we did. For almost 2 years, we worked on a house. We bought a 15 years old shipping container. We built the whole thing, learned how to weld, how to do woodworking and everything, and then moved to the boat. 2 years work on the boat, and so basically being fixing things and building things for 4 years now.
Never stop working.
Yeah. No. It's a little bit less. Now it's less. Now we're sailing more than working, but
it's enjoyable work.
It's a sailboat. You always need to fix something.
Yeah, and I think there's also some recycling activities already going on in Brazil. I think there's some precious plastic recycling communities already happening. So maybe you can also meet up with them and connect with them.
That would be really cool. Actually, there was an event right where we are today. 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
2 hours ago, we collect over 1/2 ton of plastic. Right around, just around where we are.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Fantastic.
That's really great. So does anybody have some particular questions for our fleet members, Duca and Roberta? Vera does.
Vera has something to say.
I think so. You have told us before that a little secret about your plastic collection that you have going on Odd.
Yeah, the truth is, when you invited us to be part of this project, because we've been following actually In Mocean for a while, because you, Kika, we've been following you since you bought the boat, literally. Like, first video you did, we watched your first video. And when you invited us to become part of the fleet, we were so honored that we were still refitting the boat, and we used a lot of materials while refitting the boat. So we had, for example, a lot of zip ties, like, how you call it, like zip ties, I think? The plastic little
zip
things.
ties,
Yeah.
So since the day you said we might be part of that, we just keep saving all the rest of leftovers from the refit of the boat, so we can make products from materials that we use on Odd.
So what kind of how much is it that we're talking about? How many zip ties do you have?
No, it's not. It was like in the end of the refit, right? So it's not that much, but it's everything. But I mean, like, it's everything we use. It like it's saved just in
actually.
Yeah, but a lot of little things that it's, even though it's not a lot, there is a huge meaning for us, because that's part of our work for like a long time.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, you have any idea what you want to make from it?
We don't know yet. We were talking about that during lunch today. What's your? Roberta wants to do a comb,
Yeah, nice.
Maybe,
Keychain, maybe.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I was thinking maybe a coin that you could use in a necklace, in a earring, like in different places, like one product that you can use in different ways, like in,
That'd be
maybe.
nice, something very versatile, and you could use it for your patrons maybe as well. As a
Yes,
little,
that would be great. Yeah.
Present to spread the message even further.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
An incentive to keep collecting all that plastic that we create when we're doing things, and occasionally on the boat.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Today when we were collecting garbage during the morning, all I could think when anything I get, I'm like, oh, this color is pretty cool. This would be a good one to use, like, because like, so many things. It's just like, like you see like different colors and like,
we love it.
If I mix this with that, might be a cool thing. Yeah.
So you guys, you see why we asked you to join the fleet, because we knew you were passionate about it, and that's awesome. When Maria and I go to the beaches, we just go like, "Whoa, look at all these beautiful, colorful things on the beach." It's not like, "Oh my God, so much plastic trash." It's like, "Oh my God, it's material."
There's so much in the dinghy.
Yeah.
There's too much.
And we
can't
even
take anymore.
Yeah, and we even have crafting on our name. It's Odd Life Crafting, because we always like
exactly.
To do
it's
things.
perfect.
Yeah, a friend of ours tried to change our name this month to Odd Life Sailing. I'm like, no, crafting.
It's crafting. It's crafting.
Yeah.
But for now, thank you very much for sharing your story. And next, we will invite our fleet members. Ron.
Hi. We're here.
Hello, guys. Well, maybe you want to tell us a little bit about yourselves as well, and why you joined the fleet.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm Johan, and
I'm Malin, and this is our daughter Vera. She's a little tired here. It's her sleeping time. We're from the YouTube channel Round Sailing. We're from Sweden, and we've been sailing full time since 2016. And right now we are on our way to the Caribbean, and then later on to the Pacific. And we're currently on the island of Madeira. In the Atlantic.
So
beautiful.
Yeah, it's super beautiful here.
Yeah, it is,
and very, very clean. So we actually, fortunately, we don't have that problem now where you say like you go to the beach and you see a lot of trash, because
that's a glimpse of hope. That's a glimpse of hope. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really nice to see.
But we have also seen the problems you guys are talking about on the trip we did with our last boat, especially in San Blas and Pearl Islands. With this plastic problem on the beaches.
And for you guys, I mean, you grew up in a country where recycling was pretty. You grew up with recycling, right? It's in your blood, basically. So
yeah, and taught in kindergarten, taught in school, and the whole society all the time. Basically, so
it was natural for you to join the fleet. You're like, hey, this is like home. We can do that on our boat.
Yeah, exactly. And especially, everything you see while traveling, come to other countries, and you can see what a huge problem it is with trash, and especially then plastic, because it lasts the longest in nature, unfortunately. And
and also
I just wanted to do something about it, and I think it's amazing that we can then do something from our boat, our home that we are traveling with.
Yeah, definitely. And because like you guys say, a lot of these small communities, they don't have anything, even if they want to do something about their trash situation. It's not always possible for them. In some areas there is nobody to collect the trash or do something with it, and unfortunately a lot of times it ends up in the ocean. And so it feels good to be a part of, if we could change that.
And to show that to, I don't know, remote coastal areas or villages.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for joining the mission. And I have another question for you. So if you were like on a deserted island, do you think there would be something made out of plastic that you could use for survival? Like, what would you choose?
Good question.
I know one thing that you see a lot on these beaches, that trash is like, you see flip-flops and sneakers, and I guess shoes are good to have, so I would pick a couple of shoes, sneakers or a flip-flop, I guess.
That's good. I think maybe a plastic bottle, so you could try to get water, condensed water or something like that. Could be useful.
It might use it as a water maker. Have you tried that already?
Hey.
No, I mean, we've tried it, but not really drinking from it.
Technical.
But before, I don't know if it's enough to sustain it.
So anybody has another question to the two or the three crew members of Round Sailing? I will check on the question box.
It's better.
Oh, we got one of those little reverbs.
Somebody might have their phone on or something at the same time.
God, that'll be us. Oh, what is us? Oh, no. Oh, no.
So I'm just going to shoot in a tiny little question in the meantime, because a friend of ours, Manuel from Project Manaya, he just left, unfortunately, but one of the most votes here is a party at 3 o'clock in the morning. I know it, Rob. I know it. But just to shoot in a little question is that if the extruded filament can be used as base for material for a 3D printer, which is actually interesting, because today, as I said, I talked to a friend, Manuel from Project Manaya. There is another machine that somebody out of the precious plastic movement just released fairly recently, which is a machine that takes the bottles and it cuts the bottles into little strings, and then it feeds the string into a little heat up mechanism that then will spool the PET filament, and then you can use actually that for 3D printing. But it's a machine. It's pretty cool, but it's also one bottle you can print with for 2 hours. So it's one bottle, 10 minutes to make the filament, and then you can print with it for 2 hours. So it's a very slow cleaning process, but it's really great because you can make lots of cool
things. Do so much with it, though. So cool.
We're definitely gonna look into it. All righty. So thank you very much, guys, for joining. And we'll swap you out for the cruising Kiwis. And they're in party mode.
Testing.
Have we got it right this time?
Yes.
Hey.
Welcome. Tell us a bit where you're at, why you're up, and and what you thought when we called you up to say, do you want to join the recycling fleet? Have you done any recycling before? Good morning.
Well, we recycle our own plastic.
Maybe say who you are first.
What's that?
Maybe you can give us a little introduction who you are, and because some people might not know you, so maybe you can tell us your names, and you're probably not everybody, right? I think there's 2 people that might be asleep still.
Yes. And one who's not here.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're a family of 5 from New Zealand. I'm originally from England. Our eldest son is in New Zealand. 2 other sons are sleeping on the boat. It's 3:30 in the morning here. So
everybody give them a high five for getting up that early to join this friend. Thank you so much. This is really cool.
Yeah. Oh, and what else about us? We've been living. So we've had our boat for 6 years, 7 years, and we've been living on it full time for 3.
And where are you currently at?
Okay.
We are in Western Australia. We sailed to Australia via Fiji in November 2019. And then a month later, we got hit by lightning. And then while lightning repairs were taking place, COVID arrived. And we've sort of been kind of stuck in Australia ever since, but we've been having a huge adventure here.
Yeah. Sailing around Australia.
Oh,
how's the
fantastic.
plastic situation in Australia? Is it clean, or do you get a lot of trash?
Oh, it's like anywhere. We were really shocked about 6 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
We're up in the Rolly Shoals, which is deemed one of the most pristine environments in the world. Well, if not Australia, the world, in fact. They're very proud of it, and rightly so. We were anchored in one of the 3 atolls called Clerk Reef.
No, Mermaid Reef.
And was it Mermaid? And we witnessed a literal stream of plastic.
Constant
It was bizarre. Just going past this boat, it was about 5 meters wide, and just constant plastic, and it was flowing through our anchorage, and there was all sorts of manner of things. A lot of it was actually had Asian writing on it, and there was no Australian plastic that we could see made in Australia. But it was bizarre. So bizarre.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Really
it
sad.
was really sad.
It was in one of our recent episodes, actually.
Yeah, because we actually haven't seen a huge amount of plastic in the sea around Australia. Apparently along the Northern Territory, there's a lot, but coming down from Indonesia. But where we've been, not so much. So to see it was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
it's insane how far the
something
current
about
trips
it.
carry everything. Oh, sorry, Nika.
We didn't hear that.
What was that?
No, I said, so hopefully soon you'll be able to do something about it with your brand new recycling
Oh,
machine.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, we stopped. We when we were at the Rolly Shoals, in about 10 minutes, we filled a bucket. So it was,
wow.
Yeah.
So now, if we did that, we'd get out the scrubbing brush
made
and
a new
we'd be cleaning
boat.
it up.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So someone has been asking. Someone was asking if you can use any kind of plastic at the same time, or if you have to keep it separate. Do you guys know something about that already, or do we probably have to run you through a little training?
We know
before
there's
you
2
get the
types of plastic in particular that are very user friendly with the devices, aren't there?
Yeah, and we definitely have to do some separation of the different kinds of plastic before we recycle them, to keep them separate so they're recyclable all over again. Yeah, and have you guys any experience with recycling, or is this new to you?
Oh, it's pretty new to us. We haven't done a whole lot. I mean, other than what everyone else does, that you separate your cans. There are literally some places not recycling, and the places, some of the places we visited, a lot do. But yeah, I think there's a problem now. We've discovered, and certainly New Zealand, for a while there, they were exporting a lot of the separated recycled products to China, and I think that has ceased. And I'm not sure that New Zealand is not putting it in the dumps now. A lot of it.
But I thought I heard you, or I thought there was a little story about you and recycling that was had something to do with your kids, I think.
Yes.
Bring it
Yeah,
out of
Finn,
you.
our eldest boy, is he's a multiple talented person and very creative as well. And brotherly love. He decided one day to recycle because let's face it, human waste is actually a reusable product.
Yeah.
And so you could argue, and animal waste is too. And we have a pet dog. So Finn one day, Finn I know is listening in on this. Sorry, Finn, gonna dob you. Finn decided to play a prank on his second eldest brother, little brother, and wrapped some dog poo, our pet dog poo, into a lolly wrapper. Okay, Declan, there's a lolly for you. And Declan usually, no. And the trap
I don't know that it went. I don't know that he ate it.
I think he did.
Well,
And then
so
he
That's an
discovered the truth.
upcycle if I've ever heard of one.
It's a recyclable situation you don't want to repeat.
So we have some great things to expect from you, it seems.
We'll try and aim a bit higher than that.
What? But I hope you're going to
will.
stay at the same level of funness.
Yeah, try to.
I think we lost Uma.
Internet out.
Maybe their internet is out.
Take a look
So-
at one of these building questions here.
Yeah, exactly. Maria, maybe you want to answer this one. Are there any molds that would create something that can be used as a building material, like a giant Lego brick or a board that can be snapped together like laminate flooring? Mitchell wanted to know this.
Well, I believe that, the laminate flooring would take some detailed sawing out, I believe, but you can definitely put, you can press most anything into a mold with the extrusion technique. And then they also do use, they can press into long beams and they can make bricks. And you see a lot of folks that'll start doing park benches out of them, and they will also make let's see what else. Most of them you'll see just building for brick houses now. I have seen quite a few, and I think Africa is starting to do that quite a bit. And now you can also do tops, so you could even do countertops and do chair tops. I think they're still researching more on the chemical base, how it does for food, but so I don't think that quite yet with this beach recycling at the moment, but you can definitely use it for furniture and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, not the machines that we're getting because they're kind of small, so the plastic would cool out too early before it would actually fill the mold. But yeah, I was just getting a message from Kika. I think they might have dropped out. But yeah, there is the possibility, but not with our machines, but with the land-based machines, it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to check quickly what's going on with Uma. Maybe you can take over another
Sure.
question.
What do we got?
That's a good question.
Let's see what we have. Will we all be making fleet-themed products from the plastic you collect and recycle? You will sell and raise more money for ocean cleanup or funding to do recycling fleet members. Well, we'll see. I think most of it. I think most everybody hopes to make something for themselves, I'm assuming, at least for each fleet. And it's a growing process. I think we're going to really see what's going to happen in the near future here as we collect the machines and everybody starts to get their hands and understanding how to use them more. Nika and I are a bit more, I think Nika's even more knowledgeable with the machines than I am. I'm usually just kind of giving her the plastic and she creates everything.
Woo! Yeah. I'm going to quickly, I'll jump in for a second. So yeah, we'll do another podcast about products, by the way, about the machines and the products, because also that is something that we can. We're going to have our product developer join us. I'm going to put you the link for the crowdcast to this one into the comments. It's going to be on the 5th of December. And there we're going to talk a little bit more in detail about the different products for the fleet and also the different recycling machines, more tech talk, basically. And yeah, it would be cool if we could do some products that are, as we had mentioned before, maybe use them for patrons, but also to raise more money. That's definitely a very good idea. And we hope that more people are going to join the recycling fleet next year. And yeah, first we have to fund the money for these sailing machines.
Yeah.
Where are we currently at, by the way? Shall we check where the crowdfunding is at?
Good.
Yeah. So, Jesus Christ,
Lots of
we're
fantastic
at
people out there.
$16,258.
Woohoo! 16,000.
You guys
Oh, yeah,
are
that's good.
so
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you,
That
thank
is
you, thank you
awesome.
for your support. It's really, you don't know how happy you're making us that you're supporting this mission. Thank you very much. Awesome. All righty. So I think, let's see.
I think, yeah, unfortunately, I think Uma ended up having some internet difficulty, which might happen.
we lost them, but they're still there in the question section. So they're still watching. Let's see what other questions we have.
Do they have voice ability? Maybe not, huh?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Danica, maybe you can. I'm gonna invite you again, and then maybe you can try voice. I don't know if that's gonna work.
We have this guy. Sorry, my questions area is sort of popping up funny, so it takes me a minute to see anything. We're having technical difficulties everywhere here.
Hooray, we're not the only ones.
No.
No.
Oh, no.
Well, somebody's asking if in volume, what is done with the shredded plastic? Only so many pots and trinkets can be crafted. Yes, that's a very good point. For example, in the community workspaces, there will be corporation partners, like business partners, where the communities will, try to have different distribution channels with products more that are usable, not like trinkets, but something that like the soap boxes or little buttons or something that will replace other products that are usually made of virgin plastic, will be replaced by recycled plastic. And on the boats, obviously, we can only recycle as much plastic as it is meaningful. And the big industrial recycling still has to take place in other spots. So for us, it's more everybody does a little part. And if we're a big group of everybody doing their own little part, then we, in the total, we can make a positive impact as well. Because we believe it's important to have little initiatives and big initiatives, and together from all different levels, we can combat the big problem of plastic pollution. All righty.
Yeah, it's interesting, the whole, because we've had a question or two as well. We just did an episode released this morning and announcing the campaign, and we did have a question along the lines of it's all very well to do that, but what about the what about the putting it there in the first place? And of course you have to tackle this thing at several different angles, and no individual organization can do the whole thing.
No.
And we'd love to see manufacturing come on board and say, hey, do we really need to be even wrapping this thing in a plastic bag, or it's got to start some.
Yeah, I think it's what you're saying. I think it's we get those questions a lot as well. I think it needs to be a mix, out of laws, of big companies making big changes, consumers making different decisions, and then everybody does a little part. We believe that big players and small players have their positive impact on different levels. All righty. So what else do we have?
I believe there's, let's see.
So the question is, how much does the new version of the recycling equipment cost? Is there a way to sponsor a particular fleet, or do the donations go into a general fund for all fleet participants? Well, right now, all the money is going into a big fund, and we hope that we're going to get the money to outfit all the 8 sailboats with recycling machines. We haven't actually talked about what happens if we don't get enough money, so then maybe we have to draw. Now, I guess if you do want to, if you are crazy enough to support a whole recycling machine and you would like to give it to a particular crew member, fleet member, then I think that should be very fair enough to be doing that. Yeah, so the price right now for outfitting the boat, including the 2 machines and some molds and the shipping costs and importation taxes, is around 6,000 euros. So that's about like the whole equipment for one of the fleet members. So you're up for, who are you going to set up with? I wonder who's going to get this recycling machine.
They sound like not crazy to me. They sound like they know what they want to
do. Passionate. Sorry, it was the wrong word I was using. Sometimes my German word choices are not very proper. Sorry.
What is it? This is, I understand each of the boats will carry a shredder and perhaps an extruder. How will you help small and remote communities to use the sea plastic in this area? Will you be donating machines as well as training to these communities? So the hopes is, as you see, when the machines are on the boat, we ourselves create our own plastic. So it also helps with our own situations, not to impede on local communities. So that's one step that helps out. And then when you are in an area, the hopes is as well that you can create awareness about it, and you take the machines to a shore, and then you start involving the community and showing them how to use the machines. And most of the time, our experiences have been amazing. They get right into it. They love the craft and the ability of it, and then it makes them aware that they can now use these things and possibly help sell them to tourists in the community, or even make things that they can use themselves. So we hope it really works in both directions.
Yeah, and so you're asking also if we're donating machines to the community. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
Oh, Vera wants to go on screen as well, I think. So yeah,
maybe Ren, you can mute your microphone.
So it's basically 2 different sets of work. So the fleet will be doing the awareness part and also the recycling on board. And then In Mocean as an organization is doing exactly what you're asking in your question. We are providing the funds for setting up the community recycling spaces if people are interested. We also go to the communities and we help them set up the infrastructure. And yeah, we together with them, we try to develop individual solutions for together with the communities for the community to set up self-sufficient recycling workspaces. And there's also training involved, training for sorting the plastic, for example, for recycling the plastic, obviously, but also a bit of training on the business side. So there is a sustainable plan for the next years for the community. Yeah. All right. So here's a boat question that I'm gonna call some of the boat people up. How about Duca and Roberta? Buying your first sailboat, how many of you thought you were in over your head once the BOAT, the boat bring out another 1,000 acronym, came into play?
To be honest, we knew we didn't have enough money to fix the entire boat, but if we take one step at a time, we believe it. If we really, really wanted to finish the boat project, we would do it somehow. So we never thought too far ahead. We just think one project at a time and just keep going, basically.
Yep.
What do you think?
The same.
Yeah, I mean, like, of course, in the end, you spend a lot more than you estimate sometimes.
But we did a lot more than we planned.
Yeah, the thing is, the boat we bought, we didn't really know the boat before we bought. We bought the boat that we started discovering what we had and what we wanted to do with the boat. And our boat has a direct relationship with our YouTube channel, with our videos. If the videos go well, that means we can do more to the boat, and so one works with the other. And the more people watch the videos, the more we can have the boat we dream on having, and having a boat that's safe enough, that can go anywhere. Like, we can build like our dream traveling machine, that we always say that. But in order to do that, of course, we know it's expensive. It's just boat things. It's just always expensive. Like the same screw in a hardware store is one price. In a boat store is a different price. That, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think when you do things by yourself, you put the price goes down a lot. We did most of the work ourselves. Some stuff we didn't do, like rigging, for example. We have no rigging experience, and it's something really serious that we we thought was a smart idea to have some expert to do rigging, for example, but many other jobs like electrical, plumbing, you name it, like a lot of things we did ourselves, and that puts the price a lot down because the cost of labor is a really big price on a refit.
Yeah, that's very true. Thank you,
For
you
us,
guys.
it's a little bit. Yeah,
Oops,
but for us,
sorry.
a little bit even worse because in Brazil, I don't know if you guys know, but the taxes, import taxes are really expensive, and we don't
Yes.
produce many boat stuff. So basically, if you buy, like, I don't know, like anchor winglets, for example, if you bring from a different country, it's 100% taxes. So it's double the price of anyone that pay anywhere. So it's just really tricky. That's the worst part for us on refitting a boat is buying
In
stuff
Brazil, yeah.
outside of Brazil,
Yeah.
and we have no many options here. So.
Great, thank you. So what was the question again? It was oh yeah, when was the buying the first boat? How many of you thought you were in over your head once the boat acronym came into play? Was that the same with you guys too?
For us?
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, Eric.
Oh, yeah. Well, we the big thing for us was we had a young family, 3 young boys, and parents that were moderately to zero experience. I had sailed a little P-class yacht, 7-foot yacht as a 10 to 12-year-old, and I had kind of 10 years earlier had rowed across the Atlantic Ocean in a little plywood rowing boat, but that didn't really qualify us to sail, and that was probably one of the big issues for us. When we went to sea the first time, we sailed from New Zealand to Tonga, and it was an amazing adventure. We got caught in what's called a squeeze between 2 systems. It was unpredicted, and we spent 6 days in it, didn't we?
Yeah, so unpleasant.
And Rachel, God bless, she's tough as old boots. She fell apart and turned fetal, crying and wanting to get off the boat. And she had no sea experience at all. And I was looking at the kids.
It's a rude awakening.
Oh,
yeah.
The I'm done with this moment.
Yeah. Because when we arrived in Tonga, people said, "Oh, it's way worse going back to New Zealand." And I thought, well, then I'm flying back to New Zealand.
But she didn't. She sailed back.
I did sail back.
It was an amazing experience.
Oh, I can imagine. At least you have Tonga to enjoy.
I think you will have to tell at some point, or people have to go to your guys' vlog to check out your rowing story. I think that's on your vlog as well, right? Your Atlantic crossing rowing story, because that is pretty amazing. So you have to check out the cruising.
You probably heard as much as we put on the vlogs, actually.
Yeah.
Go check them out. They're pretty insane. All right, there's a person that's asking, why can't we make the manufacturer of the plastic helps clean it up? That is a
good
very
idea.
Good question.
That's a very good idea. I mean, there's a lot of arguments for taxes and taxes for dealing with the waste that's produced in the manufacturer's product, and it's got to cycle back. That they deal with that at the time. I mean, even at retail level, when you get given a box full of plastic and you take it home, a TV or something, you've got all this polystyrene stuff. Well, that actually should be dealt with at the retail. Perhaps you shouldn't even have to deal with that as a client, just to minimize that. I tell you, we did recycling in Fiji. It was astonishing the amount of polystyrene we found up in the back line of the beaches, and there's so much out there. Really distressing.
Yeah, it's really
with the technology we have now. There's definitely more ability to start creating more natural packaging.
Yeah, and there's also some really interesting concepts out there where they say, well, the manufacturers are actually supposed to be held responsible for the packaging they put out. And there's sort of I forgot what the name of the system, but it's kind of like where you pay a certain price towards the amount of packaging and what kind of packaging you're actually bringing into the market. And then this kind of tax will be used to set up a recycling infrastructure. So basically, those manufacturers that are producing more or more harmful or more difficult to reuse or recycle stuff, they pay more money than the ones that are actually bringing something into the system that is easier to keep in the loop. So I think that's a really interesting system of working with it.
Yeah. Well, you see that they have, you know, they have watching for fish companies. You know, they have to go out there and see how much their catch is. So you would think they'd be able to do it with these larger companies just as well as environmental issues.
All right. So Uma would like to say that boats are expensive toys, but cheap houses. We spend much less living on the water than living on land. But when we first started, there were months when we had to choose between buying epoxy or buying this week's groceries. Those moments were tough. We were way over our heads. Oh, this is still the answer to the bring out 1,000. Thanks for joining that, for putting that in there, Uma. So bummer that we can't have you on screen. So here's another question. How do each of the fleet members plan on implementing a recycling program in their travels? I think Duca and Roberta have said something about that, and Ron also a little bit. Maria, so how are you going to implement recycling into your sailing program?
Into my sailing program? How will I implement it? Well, for part of my sailing, if I am doing charters and things, I will definitely introduce it to a lot of people who come on board as I sail. And if not, show them and get them to understand the possibilities, and even do, you know, beach cleanups and collect. And then I'm able to show them the process, what goes on, just more hands-on than just giving them a story and some pictures. So that would be one great possibility. And then also, as I'm, you know, there's a lot of things I have in my head that I can make tools and little trinkets and things I can use on the boat with, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So let's hear, so what's your plan on implementing the recycling? Is it going to be a daily thing or a weekly thing? Or?
To be honest, after today, I think it's going to be just like you guys, that you go to the beach and you just keep an eye for plastic every day you go to the beach, basically, I guess. I mean, my family used to make a lot of hand stuff for living when I was young. So I grew up on the crafting side of things. So I always liked to build things with my own hands. And Robert actually is an environmental engineer. So I think it's a really good mix of everything.
Yeah, combined.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And in Brazil, like all the fishing communities, and we plan for the next 12 months, for the next year, before the next Caribbean season to sail all the Brazilian coasts. And I'm pretty sure we're going to find a lot of plastic and a lot of small communities that are going to be really curious to see the machine working and to get like products straight away from the machine that they just saw working. And I think that's a way of making people see in different where they put their plastic, because a lot of this plastic come from these communities. So if they see that this can be useful, they might be able to save before they just throw on the ocean and on the land or whatever.
Or maybe reduce the use of the plastic as well.
Yeah, and hopefully, I don't know, hopefully somehow create some kind of product, just like we said, a comb, something that you can use actually, that can be useful. I'm not sure. We need to try, you know, like I think products is something that you build one, you guys been trying a lot actually, to build one, see how it works, and build another one and keep going until you find a good project.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a very promising program that you have lined up there. So how about you guys? You're on your way to the Caribbean, right? So there's probably going to be a bunch of plastic to tackle, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. There is a painting here, drawing. Yeah, but for sure, we'll come to more remote places now. Yeah. So I think we will just implement it like in our cruising life, really.
Yeah, and see what can be done when we are coming to places where, like places we talked about before, like San Blas and the Pearl Islands, because we're going through those islands on this trip as well, and then. Yeah, we'll head out in the Pacific, and I guess it will be the same on a lot of islands.
Yeah, I think so. All righty.
Enough becoming recycler.
No, sorry.
Oh,
No, it's fine.
Vera wanted to be part of the conversation too.
Yeah.
So, Rob and Rachel, how are you going to implement the recycling? And I'm going to get Kika to write me her answer, maybe, and then we can, or maybe Kika, you can send me a voice message, and then I can, put it out here for you.
Oh,
That's smart.
Whilst Rob and Rachel are telling us.
So, well, we're looking forward to finding things on the beach. As I said, there aren't that many things that wash up on the beach where we are at the moment.
Right at the moment.
We're in a place called Shark Bay at the moment, so it's not the right direction for things to wash up. But we were hoping, and you can tell me if I'm right, if we can make this, but we wanted to make something that was practical, that someone, and we were thinking paddles for kayak paddle, the end bit. But would that be too big?
We would have to talk to the manufacturer. It's possible that it's too big for the manual machines. Well, it works if you heat up the mold a little bit, because the problem is the mold was going to be fairly long. So because it's going to be a manual recycling machine, it's a little slower than the one that's with the motor. And that means
you probably could use the handle top, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The handle top.
Something that we could.
Yeah, but for
for an individual paddle, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the whole blade, it might be tricky unless you heat up the mold somehow, so the plastic doesn't cool down before it reaches the end. That's
We'll put our thinking caps on for really practical things.
That's great. So let's see if Kika sent me a message. Yeah, no, I think maybe she didn't hear me. Maybe they're out.
We were thinking making lamps or lampshades.
Lampshades, that's very good, yeah.
And using LEDs, of course, the heat, there's no heat issue with those. So there's lots of creative stuff we could do there, I think. Rachel's the creative one in our family.
I've definitely seen a lot of folks more and more starting just to do even things for their knives, just to make their knives handles a lot more easy held, so they just wrap it right around the handle, just so it's kind of a grip point for fishing knives and things like that. So very simple, but it works. It's incredible. Your mind just starts working in a lot of different ways that once you start seeing what you can do when you get your hands on the machines.
Yeah, that's true. I think for my part, before I started sailing, I told my parents that I was going to buy a boat, and they were obviously asking the question like, well, how are you going to finance your living? And I was thinking back of my backpacker days, and I was saying like, well, I'm just going to make this jewelry from the stuff that I find in the jungle, and I'm going to sell it to tourists, and that's how I'm going to make a living. So, well, nowadays you don't find seeds in the jungle anymore. You find plastic in the jungle, and well, there you are. Voila, mom and dad, I'm now making jewelry out of plastic. So I think I'm gonna obviously also do some other more useful household items, but I think I'm gonna specialize in a little bit of jewelry making, because I think it's a very nice
earrings
way.
Definitely came out nice.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
This is from a goldsmith here in my hometown, Lüneburg, Arthur Müller. They made them for one of our fundraiser events, and they also have the little In Mocean symbol on it. And there's like a little wave that moves. I think it's a nice way of carrying the message on yourself and promoting it to other people. So that's a little bit of the thought behind it. Okay, so let's see.
Gosh, wouldn't it be amazing?
Okay, Kika is typing something.
If we can get communities in every community, there's one person like you, Nika, that has created something and building something and then inspiring other members in their communities to do that. And if you can, and this is the whole concept of this, isn't it? Is to get individual communities taking it on board and then sucking that plastic out of the ocean and converting it in their community.
Step at a time.
The whole concept is so awesome. And it's one small step that we're taking here towards that.
Exactly. That's the plan with In Mocean, to hopefully create more of those community recycling spaces. I mean, you know, we're starting, but we already got one set up, and we're tackling the next one in spring next year. So it's going to be exciting. Yeah. So Uma is just typing us a little answer. So I'm just going to read it out to you just to make it a little bit more lively. What they plan to do with recycling, I think the focus for us will be to show people that it's possible. But I think the beauty of the machine will be to upcycle our own plastic as well, that inevitably ends up on board. Because the reality is, shampoo bottles, toothpaste, there are certain things that will always come in plastic containers. And instead of burning it, like we had to in the Bahamas, we can recycle it and maybe even build more tools for Dan. I like it. I think tools is a really great idea. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think all of us sailors, we know that occasionally there is burning of plastic going on because you can't store it for like forever. And Uma, here's another question for you that you can type away on. Does Uma have enough power on board to run the shredder and extruder? Or maybe I can also say a little bit about the amount of power that it's going to be drawing. So the extruder that we're looking at, basically, also just to say that it's a mix of extruder and injection machine. So we're actually combining the two techniques, or not us, but the manufacturer of the machines is combining the two techniques, which is really awesome. It gives you the chance to extrude and to inject at the same time. And it's taking about 1.2 kilowatts of power. And Uma is saying, yeah, no problem at all. And we have two different kinds of shredders. One is from a different company. That it's a manual shredder. So there's the option to go with a manual shredder. And then there is a compact, small size electrical shredder that the manufacturer, Precious Plastic in Melbourne, is still working on. But they've been saying it has the energy consumption of a toaster. So, Maria, I think you had said the other day how much that would be, like around a kilowatt, I think, or 1.2 as well.
Exactly. 12, yeah.
And Uma says they're working on gathering more power. So there you go. and also our aim is to run all the recycling on renewable energy. So we're really happy that we're going for these less energy hungry machines, because with the big shredder before, I mean, we could run it on Maria's sailboat because she's got what, 6 kilowatt diesel generator. So we could run the shredder on it, but you know, it was impossible on solar. So with the new machines, we'll be able to run them on solar, which is great, recycling on renewable energy.
That would be amazing.
Someone is
you didn't
asking,
do too bad in yours, though.
Sorry?
You didn't do too bad in Carl after you got your new equipment.
yeah, but definitely not 4 kilowatt starting current. That's impossible. So here's somebody asking if it can use for making knives and forks. Maybe Maria, you want to say something to that?
What was it? Sorry?
Can it be used for making knives and forks? Can or should, I guess, is the question.
Should, yeah. That's more of it should be used. That's right now, most of the, just for the process of the heating, chemicals and rebalances aren't so great. So it's nothing at the moment. We don't use anything really for eating or edible foods. Yeah, more or less if it has a skin or coating, so you can use for a fruit bowl, things like that. Definitely, but on this state in our science and studies, not at the moment, so we wouldn't use it for forks or knives.
Yeah, even the European Commission hasn't brought up a program yet, I think, to certify food grade recycled plastic, because it's very, very difficult to, when you mix even the same types of plastic, to make it food proof again.
Yeah.
How many land-based machines are there currently? Maria, you can stay up on that one too.
Within our group?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, maybe you can say in our group and in general.
In our group at the moment, it's within In Mocean. We just have the one that we left with Copperat, which is the extruder and the shredder. So there's 2 machines in general there, and then as in the globe, there's quite a few that you can actually go to Precious Plastic and you can see quite a chart of communities that have started different programs for land-based. And I believe Nika had put the precious plastic down, I believe, didn't you? To share the website?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link to the map. Just give me a second. So the precious plastic community, which is there's different workspaces working with the machine. It's grown incredibly throughout the past years, and the workspaces are just popping up all over the globe because people see a lot of potential in it. And I think they just did a survey, and about 1,800 people took part in the survey. So yeah, there's a couple of them out there.
There is.
But for us, for In Mocean, we have 2 right now, and we're going for the next 2 for next year in spring.
Well, we're hoping the whole fleet will have them, so.
Oh yeah, but they're asking land-based, so.
Yeah.
So here's another one. Other than helping to fund the initiative, how else can we part-time land-based sailors help? Are there local land-based In Mocean beach cleanups? And if not, can we start one? So we're super excited that we've gotten so much positive feedback from everybody wanting to join the movement and joining the fleet. So right now the fleet for us is a little trial project on outfitting the machines and see how everything goes. And then we would love to invite more people to join, and we will throw out a concept about how people can join with different activities. Like, not everyone will have to have a machine or to set up recycling workspaces, but yeah, it'll be a different project, a different concept with different levels of how people can join our movement. So stay tuned. Oh, how much space are the machines going to take up, and how much power do they use? Maria, do you want to take this one?
How much space did they? I'm sorry, my mic keeps breaking up. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I'm gonna quickly answer it. So, how much space are the machines gonna take up, and how much power do they use? So, power-wise, the extruder is going to be 1.2 kilowatt, and the shredder is going to be more or less around the same. It's still in development, and there's a manual shredder that doesn't take any power except muscle power. And space-wise, the extruder is 300 times 300 times 300, and it weighs 15 kilos, if I'm not mistaken. And the manual shredder is, I don't know the exact size, but it's basically like this. If that helps you, it's slim like this, and it weighs 10 kilos. And yeah, as I said, the small electrical shredder is still in development, but it will be kind of boxy, the same, similar size probably to the extruder. So everything will be portable, very compact, so we can just throw them into the dinghy and take them to shore.
Right here. Sorry, it's going up.
So Kika already answered this one. Okay, that's great. So here's another questions about the food grade stuff. So I think that's been answered. If we tried to make functional ware like plates, bowls, drinking glasses, yeah, unfortunately that's not recommendable for recycling because it's not food proof. So we want to stay away from experiments like that. Okay, here's one person saying, I'm quite interested if boat parts can be made from plastic. So anybody, Maria, could you say something about that?
Sure. I made a toggle for my outboard, one of the toggles that broke. So I just kind of reconstructed some pieces that I found of an old plastic thick bottle. And so I just sort of reused that. And then otherwise, if I didn't have it, I would have waited for days on end to get a part from the city. So that worked out. Now with machines, I think then you were able to do quite a few things if you decide to get certain molds, of course. But I think you have to sort of be witty about it and think it through. But I find there's quite a few opportunities for sure.
Yeah, and I think also looking into that, I think we lost Maria. Looking into that PET bottle bot would be also an interesting addition to the recycling feeds, because then you could actually make boat parts, like, very particular things. I'm gonna look for Maria, where she went.
Where did my thing go?
Oh, you're still there.
Sometimes it's, yeah, I think my computer's starting to act up on me.
Okay, we had here how it all started. I think we said a lot about that in the beginning. How do we turn on video and audio? Okay, that's maybe too late for answer that. I hope you found that out.
You can ask
Thomas. Sorry,
you can ask Rob and Rachel that one. They'll answer you.
So here's somebody asking, is there a chance for a boat owner who's not a member of the In Mocean recycling feed to get a machine on their boat? Hell yeah. There is different manufacturers for machines. Some of them are a little bit more bulky, like the ones that we had in the beginning. And but there is the manufacturer that we're working with is called Precious Plastic Melbourne. That's the extruder that you saw earlier on. I'm gonna put you the Precious Plastic Melbourne. They're the ones that are selling the extruder, so it can be bought online. And then the manual shredder, that's a company called Plastic Preneur, like the entrepreneur but with plastic. And there you can get the manual shredder. So Maria froze on me here on the screen, I think. Or is she just a happy person?
No, is it still, am I on or off?
I think you're frozen. Wait a second. Maybe I have to defreeze you real quick.
We can see you, Maria.
Oh, you can see her? Oh, okay. She was frozen.
Yeah, I can't now.
Oh, she's gone now, though.
She's gone now.
I'll put her back on. Alrighty, so that was late.
Oh.
Will there be a video of this feed? Yes, there will be a video of this feed. It's all recorded, and the nice thing about Crowdcast, in comparison to, for example, a YouTube feed, is that even afterwards you can see all the questions and all the answers and all the chats. So I think that's a really big plus on the Crowdcast platform. So here was a question for Ron saying, Johan, what are your plans with the machines? I guess you answered that, or do you want to add anything to that? Did you come up with anything in the meantime? Any different plans?
No, but I think we'll, I mean, making parts for the boats is a good idea, but maybe not making the actual part, but maybe molds for doing other parts would be feasible if you need parts that are stronger. But I guess we will do the same as Uma, I guess, because we have a lot of plastic on board. And what we've done in the past when you're doing long crossings is we try to store this plastic. But like you say, you can only store so much on the boat, and this way you can get it to be more, to take up smaller space. And then, of course, it'll be fun to do something with this plastic as well. But what we will do, I guess we'll have to figure out.
So you think you can make molds, Johan? You have because you're pretty skillful as well, right, with machines and everything.
No, but that was just the one thing when you got the question that maybe the plastic in itself is not strong enough to hold, if you make a block or something for the boat, but you can certainly do a mold from it and then maybe use epoxy and fiber,
definitely.
Now I understand what you mean. Yeah, that's a great idea too. So, but could you make a mold as well?
Yeah, I mean, that would be possible.
From aluminum?
Yeah, but you can make the mold from plastic, and then like in
No, but injection. If you wanted to make a mold for injecting the plastic into, that probably you would need metal, I suppose. Well, Roberta, you could do it with your engineering skills.
I'm not sure. I'm out of service for like 15 years.
Get back at it. Surprise us all.
Yeah, I can research about it.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
did we lose Maria?
there's certainly a lot of things that you can do with plastic, but yeah, time will tell. I mean, there's a lot of things I guess you can do, so it will be very interesting.
Yeah. So there's another question about the 3D printing. I think people are really excited about the 3D printing, and I mentioned it before. There is a new machine that is turning the plastic PET bottles into filament for 3D printers, and it's pretty exciting. We're going to look into it a little deeper as well, because then you could make like little very meticulous boat parts as well potentially. So that would be pretty cool. I think we're going to have like our boat full of machines, Maria, right? There's no way around it. It's going to be not just masses of plastic, but also masses of machines.
I think I would go really crazy if I had a 3D printer.
Alrighty. So is there any more questions that you fleet members want to ask each other potentially? Because I think we ran out of the questions from the crowd.
Until next week.
We're looking thoughtful. Anyone wanting to explore Brazil with us? You're more than welcome.
Say again?
We have too much plastic in Brazil. We need more fleet members to come down to Brazil.
Yeah.
I sailed Brazil before. It's a lovely country. Very nice cruising grounds they have there.
Thanks
I've only been to Iguazu so far.
We would love to go there in the future for sure.
Alrighty. Well, if there is, are there any other questions that anybody wants to shoot from the crowd, or is everything answered? We've been on now for 1.5 hours. Wow. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time. I really want to say thank you so much to all the fleet members for joining the mission. We're really, really happy to have all of you on board. And thank you so much for everybody that joined us today and shared this chat with us. We're really happy that you're keen to know more about the initiative, and we hope to stay tuned with you guys and interact some more maybe next week when we're talking with Coprod about the community recycling space, and then on the 5th of December with our machine manufacturer. All the links are in the comments, so you can find them there. And I just see that Kika was saying yes to wine. My dad really sweetly just brought me a glass of wine. He was the one throwing the plastic around. So thank you, Dad. People love that, I think. So yeah. Right now we're at $16,318 for the crowdfunding campaign. Massive thank you to everybody out there. Fleet, everybody give a big thank you to everybody that donated to our recycling machine.
Thanks, guys.
That's awesome.
Really, this would not be possible without all of you out there. You're making this happen, and we're extremely grateful. And the ocean is too. All righty. So I think that's it. Or Maria, do you want to have any last words to say?
Did I freeze again? No. Last words just being, as much as you said, I can't say any more thanks than that. And I never thought in my lifetime that not that I would wish, since it's towards plastic, but to have such a unity of people coming together to try out a new feat and see what we can do, just one step at a time, or one wave at a time, I guess, this time.
Yeah. It's really amazing, and I think we're still overwhelmed with everything, and we're looking forward to what's coming up. So let's catch the wave to Cleveland tomorrow, everybody.
Woo! Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining.
Have a good night, morning, evening, wherever you are.
See ya. Good night.
Good night.
We'll say good night.
Good night. We're going back to bed.
Bye-bye, everybody.
If you enjoyed this episode, please comment, give us a thumbs up, and best of all, share it. It helps us heaps.